Let's go into what I would call the big squeeze. I've heard this from a few people from the network side that, the big shows continue to get investments from the networks, and they're willing to throw extra money at those big shows to make them feel bigger. Let's call them the Super Bowls, if you will, for lack of a better word, or the Olympics. But the smaller events are definitely getting constrained and squeezed, and the middle events are also really getting squeezed too. And every other big event that's not a big event is also getting squeezed. So I guess the margins are just tightening. We had a discussion on the pre-call. Unfortunately, the people who everybody in this room should be getting a message out to are the CFOs. They're not here in this room, so maybe they can watch the video and someone can share it with them. But I do want to start with you, Mel, as far as just in general, because it seems like every year just the margins get tighter, the pinching gets tighter, the demands get larger. Not only on you guys, but also on the production teams and the people you're hiring. So, is there a way out of this sort of constant crisis of just like really thin margins and things being really just squeeze?
Yeah, just want to let everybody know that our CFO is in the room because we're educating him on what the business is all about. Yeah, I find the margins are definitely going squeezed in terms of our owners. Like they constantly asking us, how can we do this better? How can we do this better? Because the rates are going up and their budgets are going down. But I think you just have to sit down and say, what is more important? Like for their A hockey game, they're going to put the big show on it. But do they really need to travel that lead EVS if we've got a trained EVS in Edmonton? So we've worked really hard on training people, audio operators and TDs, so that they can reduce travel. So again, travel doesn't hit my budget. It hits Air Canada. So I'm trying to look at things that they have to spend money on, but it doesn't affect me. So rentals, is there any way that I can go out and buy an extra EVS so I'm not renting EVSs or in a RoboCam? So again, the margins come into myself. I think the biggest thing is taking those lower tier and becoming producers of those, and then you can control it. And it's the risk that you want to take. As I always say, the only person that's going to yell at me is me. So I'll take the risk and maybe go down a camera or put a beauty cam out instead of a full-up 1500 camera, or I'll go with a 1500 as opposed to a 5500. So we're just constantly looking at every event. So lowering the margins or the revenue but not reducing the quality is our mandate right now. So, and retiring 2 trucks and only going to build 1 truck, and the second truck's going to be a repurposed camera truck, because we're finding that the Remis are starting in Canada and the volume's picking up now.
Excellent, great. So Bob, obviously Mel hinted at some of the staffing issues and traveling people. You guys are right in that bullseye. So what's your take as far as the pressure you guys are seeing as far as on staffing and developing talent and just the personnel side of things?
Well, I'm very lucky in that I was started with Phil, and Phil's middle name was Squeezing Margin. So when we started with HDNet, when I started with Mobile TV Group, Phil always made sure to tell me, one of the incredible life lessons I learned from his, he told me no matter what you do, make sure that you bill $1.10 for every dollar of expense that you incur. And it seems like logical, but I think what we all agreed on is that we have more and more customers that want to get $1's worth of production for 25 cents. And I think everybody on this panel has done an amazing job of finding better, more cost-effective ways to putting shows on the air, to hiring people, to training people. But we on this panel have absorbed those costs. My company alone has probably spent a couple of $1 million training the next level technicians, and other than a small stipend every now and then, that's completely out of our pockets. And the same customers will complain about how much you have to travel people when in markets where you don't have a lot of technicians. And so yeah, I mean, we're dealing with, and I say we, the collective we, I think we all deal with a group of people that aren't in this room other than Mel's CFO. People that sit in a room and say, well, we're spending $10, we have to figure out how to spend $8, who don't really understand what anybody in this room, including the 5 of us, actually do. And everybody just assumes it's easy to cut, 10%, 20%, but yet they want the latest technology on every truck. They want the A-level people in every market. It's just, my opinion is it's becoming more and more unrealistic to continue to come to this group of people and other people in this room that are vendors and ask us to figure out how to save their organizations more and more money. There was a great saying once that says, a problem on your end doesn't automatically create a crisis on mine, but yet we deal with that all the time. So listen, I'm enormously appreciative for every single customer we have, which is almost everybody in this room. We work very hard to do a great job for everybody, as do the other people on this panel. But somebody on this panel made a great comment on our pre-call about the ability of customers to continue to ask for price decreases, and at some point that's got to end. And hopefully, maybe the SVG Summit of 2024 is one that actually takes place. So.
Sure.